If you're still trying to find deals by chasing the newest listings, you're basically sprinting into the most competitive part of the market on purpose. Because in 2026, the easiest discounts usually aren't on the fresh listings. They're on listings everyone else already scrolled past. The ones that have been sitting, the ones with awkward photos, the ones where the description has that please somebody buy this energy, the ones where you can almost feel the seller getting more flexible with every week that goes by. That's what I call a stale listing. And today I'm walking you through my stale listing sniper strategy and how I use AI to automatically find those stale listings, score which ones are most likely to discount, draft the exact text or email I send to the listing agent, and then run a follow-up sequence that wins the deals while other people are getting distracted. This is especially good if you're newer because you're not trying to outbid the whole internet on the hottest property. You're going after the listings where time is doing the negotiating for you. Here's why I love stale listings, which by the way, I mean like 60 days or more. Most sellers start with a number in their head. They're emotionally attached to it. They remember what they spent. They remember the upgrades. They remember what a neighbor sold theirs for during COVID. And then reality shows up. Showings are slow, feedback comes in, people complain about paint, layout, carpet, or the kitchen being dated. And then the agent suggests a price cut. The seller resists, another week goes by, another weekend goes by, and at some point, the seller's mindset shifts from I want top dollar to I want this handled. That shift is where investors get discounts and better terms. And the key is, you're not looking for a random stale listing. You're looking for stale listings with motivation signals. And these signals stack. There are three that I care about. First, days on market. But relative to the area, some areas go for longer, some shorter. Stale can be different in different pockets, even in just the same neighborhood. Ideally at least 60, and even better if it gets to 75 or 90. Second, price cuts. And not just did it cut, but the pattern. Multiple cuts, meaningful cuts, or a recent cut after weeks of nothing. That's a seller adjusting expectations in public. And then third, the language in the listing notes. This is where motivation leaks. You'll see phrases like bring all offers, vacant, seller relocating, price to sell, as is, will consider concessions, back on market, buyer couldn't perform, all that good stuff. Any one of these signals alone doesn't guarantee anything, but when you combine high days on market, price reductions, and motivation language, you're not guessing anymore, you're targeting. So the big problem is humans aren't consistent enough to do this perfectly. You might check listings today, forget for a week, then check again when you're in the mood. AI doesn't do that. AI watches every single day, flags the best opportunities, gives you a ranked hit list. Here's the stale listing sniper workflow, end to end. Step 1, the system monitors your buy box daily, your zip codes, property type, beds and baths, price range, whatever your strategy is. The point is consistent data coming in every day. Step 2, it scores motivation from 0 to 100. Call it like a discount likelihood or flexibility score. It's not magic, it's just a way to rank what deserves your attention today. And that score is driven by the exact signals we talked about. Days on market, compared to local norms, number and size of price cuts, how recently the listing changed, language that hints motivation, back on market flags, vacancy clues, concessions language, all of this good stuff. Step 3, it drafts the outreach to the listing agent. The first message is not you throwing out a low number. The first message is you starting a real conversation that uncovers what the seller actually wants. Step 4, it runs a follow-up sequence. This part is huge because stale listing deals are often won on the second, third, or fourth touch, right when the seller finally softens. And yeah, now let me give you a quick demo example so you can see how this plays out. Let's say I pull 10 stale leads in my buy box. The AI scores them, shows me the top 3 most likely to discount. Lead number 1 gets 91 out of 100. It's been sitting for a while, it had 2 price cuts, and the remarks say that something like seller already relocated, bring all offers. That's a stacked signal. Time pressure plus public price movement plus a life event. On a lead like that, I'm not trying to win by being the lowest offer, I'm trying to win by being the cleanest, most certain option. because relocation often means they care about speed and certainty. Another lead number 2, gets an 84 out of 100. Days on market is elevated. There's one meaningful price cut. The listing language has shifted. It started as charming and updated, and now it's more like price to sell, needs TLC. The language is becoming more honest. It's telling you that retail buyers are hesitating and the agent is repositioning the property. That's where investors can slide in because we don't need the property to be perfect. We need it to pencil. Lead number 3 gets like a 79 out of 100. It's been sitting a long time, but the big flag is it went pending, came back on market, buyer couldn't perform, and it says vacant and easy to show. That's pain. A failed contract makes a seller prioritize certainty for the next time around. Even if the price hasn't dropped much yet, this is where you can win with a professional approach, clean terms, and a confident timeline. Now, let's talk about the outreach because I want you to have the exact words that will get you deals. This is the text that I like to send to the listing agent. Hey, Mr. Agent, quick question on 123 Main Street. Is the seller open to an investor style offer if it's clean and certain, like as is and flexible close, or are they holding firm on the price? That's it, short, respectful, and it forces an answer that matters. And if I'm emailing, instead I'll say, hey, Mr. Agent, I'm looking at 123 Main Street. If your seller is open to a clean offer with strong certainty, minimal fuss, as is, flexible close, I'd love to take a swing. What does the seller care about most right now? Net price, speed, or terms? Notice what I'm doing here. I'm not insulting their listing. I'm not acting like a shark. I'm not spamming a template that screams lowball. I'm asking a smart question that uncovers motivation. And once the agent answers, now I can structure a real offer. Because the truth is, a lot of discounts don't come from being aggressive. They come from being specific. Now, here's the follow-up sequence that makes the strategy actually work. If you don't follow up, stale listings won't pay you, period. So this is my simple cadence. 2 days later, I send a gentle bump, just bumping this, any flexibility on terms or concessions if we keep it clean. A few days after that, I ask for details that help me price it. If it helps, I can send a quick range after I confirm a couple of things, any known repairs, occupancy or timeline I should factor in. Around day 10, I'll really get into asking the most important questions without being weird about it. Where would the seller realistically need to be to move forward this month? And if they're still on market around day 21, I send a final check-in like, hey, last check-in before I move on, still open to an investor offer. And a lot of times it's kind of incredible. This is the one where they're like, okay, let's talk, right? Let's make something happen. And a lot of times it'll catch them right when the seller's stance starts changing. And in a slower environment, this can be a huge way to beat your competition. Now let me make this super practical if you're newer. If I was starting from scratch, I'd keep it simple. I'd pick 1 to 3 zip codes, not 20. I'd define a buy box I can actually afford. I'd focus on stale listings with these stacked signals, not random old listing. And I'd aim for 20 agent conversations a day, not 50, 20. Because 20 a day is enough to start building momentum, learn your market, and start seeing patterns without burning yourself out. And the biggest mindset shift is this: you're not competing with other buyers on speed. You're competing on consistency and being the first one to the lead. Most people quit after messaging once to that agent. Most people ignore anything that's been sitting. So if you can consistently show up with clean communication, a real offer structure, you're automatically in the top 1% of buyers for stale listings. That's why I really like this strategy. I've just been putting it in. It's clever, it's scalable, and it's really beginner friendly. Now, if you want this installed instead of trying to duct tape it together, monitoring, scoring, drafted outreach, and a follow-up sequence, OmniCrew AI, my AI company, installs the stale listing sniper workflow so you can wake up to a ranked list of the best stale opportunities in your market. If you're done competing for the obvious deals and if you want ones hiding in plain sight, check out OmniCrew AI. There's a link in the description below. And if you want, I can also share my exact scoring categories and the message templates in a follow-up video. So subscribe, comment the city you're investing in, and I'll tailor the stale listing sniper approach to your market. Maybe I'll do like a live demo next time. But until then, I will see y'all later.